Hi everyone, Denise here. So we're here today to do these cards. Now we did these in class in May of 2023. They are really quite simple to do on the website if you can still access it. They're called Better Than Basic Slimline cards. We did a whole birthday theme in May. So all 4 cards involve birthday cards. But of course you can use whatever sentiments you want and make them anything that you want them to. Now I will start with, I have been trying to get my phone to work in landscape mode when I do the live YouTubes, and I have done everything and it just won't do it. So I'm gonna see if this comes out okay. It's on landscape when I do the video, so if it's a little screwy when it gets to YouTube, my apologies. I'm gonna check though when I upload. So hopefully this is still good for you. All right, so we did these 3 cards in class. These are really very simple. All of the pieces came with it. You may be able to still purchase this kit at LI Craft Stop. You'll have to check with Christina. I'm not sure if they're on the website or not, but you'll have to check with Christina to see if they're there. And occasionally the kits do go on sale, so you may want to ask about that as well. So all you really did, I mean, all of your pieces come inside your envelope there. Right, and sometimes like this, the sentiment, it gets a little sticky, right, with static, see it in there? So you just want to make sure that you have it in there, because the first thing that everybody, myself included, says is, oh my God, I'm missing a piece. No, you're not. It's in there. You just have to sometimes look for it. So all this technique is faux watercoloring, and we've done this before. These I did with a distress ink reinker, not an oxide, because I didn't want the black lines to be blurred here. So it's just a straight up distress ink, regular distress ink. And we're gonna add some water to it and watercolor with it. I did yellow, I did orange, I did purple. You can choose whatever colors you want, whatever you have in your stash. It does not have to be a distress ink reinker. It can be any reinker that is water reactive. So like Simon Hurley is water reactive. Oh, I just lost off the top of my head all the other ones. But there are several other ones that are water reactive. And if you don't have a reinker, that's okay. Take the ink pen and just smush it a little bit. Not actually smush, but you know, put it on your non-porous craft sheet, right? And just no pressure, just kind of twist and then lift it. So you have a little outline there, and you can use that as well. So you don't have to have the reinker. I just like to use the reinkers for this because I have them. So I want to stretch my supplies. So all this is really very simple, right? You're just building the card. Now, again, your sentiment is in there, but for this one, you are taking some dry clear glue. That Barely Arts works really great, especially that fine point tip, and you are gluing this down. Now, this die is kind of easy because you have all of those center points that you can do, and I would just dot my glue strategically. I wouldn't do every one. This, I did pop dot. And then my flowers, I pop dotted. You can maybe see that if I go like this, maybe. Let's see here. Maybe you can see that there. And then my flowers, I also pop dotted, but the leaves I did not. You may be able to see there with the dimension between the two, because I did like my leaves pressed underneath. So you see them there. So I did the same thing with all 3 of the cards. So let me just put this to the side. So that one I did in yellow, just because I like the blue with the yellow. This one is the gray. So what I did with this, again, I put everything else to the side, and you're gonna fussy cut out those flowers and leaves there. I did adhere this directly to, now again, if you notice there, I have some little thingies. You see the little darker pieces that I need to kind of punch out for myself and get rid of. I got some little chads stuck in there. So I would be sure that you are looking at those and using your little pokey tool to poke out anything that remains. I then pop dotted this layer. So I took foam tape that was about 1/4 inch, and I just foam taped around. And then I did it directly on top. Now, if you don't want to risk it, because, you know, it's like a one-shot deal. You don't want to risk that. That's okay. Then do the foam first. Put this then on the back, right? So you're doing that before you're gluing, before you glue down. Now there is a good and a bad side, so to speak, to this, and you'll see it when you look at this. You'll see that one side is almost a little raised, and you can kind of, like you can feel that. On the back though, it's different. It even makes a different noise. You can see where everything was pushed out, and I don't think you can see the difference on the camera. This is the bad side. This is the good side. So I'm not sure if you can see that because again, I'm sort of upside down with my head underneath kind of looking, and yeah, my neck doesn't twist that way. So you'll see it though in your kit. So again, you can either glue down, then foam tape and do it, or you can foam tape, put your gray on top, and then flip it all and glue it down. Now with this too, again, you do have a good and a bad side, so be careful of that. You may be able to see here, if the camera focuses, how you've got your stitches this way, but if you look at the back, hopefully you see the difference there. You will in person, that it just doesn't look as nice. One side it looks like it's punched through, one side it looks like it's punched up, and the punched up side is never the side that you want showing. And if you make the mistake, it's okay, nobody's gonna know. And if they do, and they care, and they say something, our rule in card class is they don't get a card anymore, they're off the list. So you're going to build that. You are going to, of course, first color your leaves and your flowers for all of these, then fussy cut them. I did pop dot the flowers. I did not pop dot the leaves. Now, in this particular case, these two sets of leaves here, I actually glued to the edge of the flower so that they appear to be popped. But if you want to stick a little piece of foam tape or pop dot behind those two, feel free. This one I did not. But again, it is your card. Whoops. Bags flying at me. So that's how we did that one. So let me put this to the side before I lose these pieces. And then we have the last one. And the last one is, again, super simple. It's straight up kind of gluing. Because remember, these were, you know, they were basic. They were better than basic, but they're still basic. So you have your, again, you have your greeting in there. You only have birthday for one. You have greetings for all three. That way you could add a birthday if you wanted. Now, I did not originally make these birthday, which is why the greeting is here. But when I decided to add birthday to this one, notice my greeting was lower and I sort of curved it a little bit more because I needed to fit in the birthday. So keep that in mind. Super simple again. You have your piece of paper, glue it on down, take your oval, and again, there's a good and a bad side to this, so take a look before you glue it. I pop dotted this, and then I pop dotted my flowers, but again, not my leaves, over it. Trying to get where you can see maybe that the leaves are not, I hope you can see the space there. That the leaves are flat, but the flowers are pop dotted. And while I'm here, you may notice that under the T, let's see how close I can get without it not focusing. Under the T there, you'll see that's where my two flowers meet. So I did one flower first, and then I stuck the other one under just a little bit. Now, again, you can do that any way you want. You can separate them. You can make them closer together. I just wanted my flowers to span over the oval, and I wanted my leaves to do that as well. I didn't want a whole lot of like white space for the oval. All right, so how do I color my leaves? Now, these are just some flowers here. Not obviously the same flowers that you have, but in order to color or do some faux coloring with a reinker, a distress reinker, or anything else that is water reactive, literally do one drop. One, that's it, that's all you need. And people tend to think they need a whole lot more. They want the color to be that vibrant. You honestly don't, and you're sort of wasting your reinker that way. You can use a watercolor brush and a cup of water. You can use a water barrel brush, which is what I'm about to use here. The water barrel does not give you as much control over the amount of water. See, when I just click did it a little bit, you should be able to see right there that little water bubble. So you're not going to necessarily have as much control over the water as you want, which may or may not determine if the color is what you want it to be. But again, always start light because you can always add another layer of color. And if you color, let me show you. So I'm going to take just literally the tiniest bit of water. I'm going to drag a little bit of that out. Okay, so I'm going to drag a little bit of that out, and you should see this now. If I go down closer with the camera, what happens is it tends to go out of focus. So it's just, see where I touched that? You see how my water turned right there? So I want just the lightest bit of color. And I tend to do circles. Now, what I am using here is not watercolor paper. And I'm okay with going outside of the lines because, quite frankly, I'm going to fussy cut them anyway. If I wanted much lighter, and that's why you always start lighter, add a lot more water, and my water is pretty pink right now. You see how that's lighter? And that's literally just my water. Now, if I want to make a shadow, I just take a little bit of the ink that I pulled out before, not from the water, but that other one that made this color. And I can just flick it in a little bit. Or I can flick it from the bottom. Or, let me make another one lighter for you. And again, I'm fussy cutting, so I don't really care if I'm in the lines. And watercoloring is supposed to and meant to be quick and easy. It's not supposed to be something laborious that takes forever. It's not really that kind of coloring medium. So if I wanted to do an outline, I'm gonna pull, again, the very tip of my pen. You see that very tip? I'm gonna add some more water to it just to tone it down a little bit. And then I'm just gonna go around the edges maybe. And then maybe the bottom, so that the inside of my petal is lighter. If I want to go back over it again with some water, it should blend itself up. You want to be sure. Go back in with that lightest again with the water, and you see how that harshness disappeared? Hopefully you can see that. So that's really all there is to this. So use whatever colors you have on hand. And you do this the same way if you were just smushing a little bit of your ink from your ink pad on there. You would just, again, pull a little color away. Don't put your water directly in there because then you can't really adjust the color as you go. Put your water to the side, pull some color out, and you would do the same with the leaves with whatever green that you have. Fussy cut away. Go ahead and then finish, embellish your flowers. So I'm gonna say I went directly with a little bit of water, but not much, into the ink itself. So you see how red it is, right? I'm gonna try to hold that up. So that's this one with the little line there. So now I'm going to do it again. I'm gonna try to do close up with just the water. Now you should see my pile here, just the water, which of course is now tinted, because red is red tints everything, but so do all these other reinkers. But I have not pulled any color in. That's just from what's left over on my brush and what I've been using. So that's going to be the one with the X. So you see how much lighter that is? Now I'm going to go in to my ink drop. I'm going to take an itty bitty bit of water. I'm going to go off a little bit and rub it a little bit just to make sure that I have it. And I'm going to go around the edges to create kind of a shadow on the one with the X. So you see how it's light in the middle? Now I'm going to go back into my water only, which is still tinted, but my water only. And I'm going to go right back over that dark shadow that I just did. So still the X. You see how it's not harsh anymore? It's still there, but it's not a harsh line. If you want it to be less harsh or less intense, go over it a second time with water, and there you go. Watercolor is very forgiving in this way. You can, again, you want darker lines in there, take a little bit on the tip, follow the lines of the flower. So I added just some dark little lines there, which you may want to do on your leaves or you may not. You may want to use 2 colors on your leaves, but you don't have to with this because you can use the same color over again with different amounts of water to get different shades and different tones and to get that shadow that you might be looking for. So that's all you have to do with the faux watercoloring. And again, I still have the vast majority of that drop there. So you really do not need a lot. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make time and again is how much they use. It's watercolor. It isn't necessarily supposed to be as bright as, say, a paint or a liquid watercolor. It's watercolor. It's supposed to be a little washed out there. So it is up to your own personal taste. Do what you like. We would love to see your cards. If you do them, please be sure that you post them in the group. So before we leave, again, the group is Scrapbooking Stuff Group. Be sure that you, if this video was helpful, click on the video that it was a like for you. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That allows us to be able to go live and do different free and paid events online for people everywhere, not just who are local to us. I hope this was helpful. Go ahead and build those cards. Thank you for supporting our local business. Have a great rest of the day.